my name is Athena Kablenu. I'm a stand-up comedian, writer, podcaster, and parent. Parenting is wonderful, but the child only has 3 words: toast, egg, and sock. Mm-hmm. So there's not much.
She just said yeah.
Oh, all right then. 4 words. 4 words. But that you can't have a conversation with that. Yeah, toast, sock, egg. So that's why I invite friends around to keep my company. And today I've got a super friend. I said, oh, they're all super friends, but you're a super friend. Bilal, hello, Bilal Zafar.
How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. Before I start, I have to say, this is the first time you've had plantain?
No, it isn't.
It isn't? Okay.
No, because I've had it once before in a Colombian restaurant. Where do you buy it from? Does it have to be a special little...
No, just any kind of grocers. Funnily enough, the kind of stuff that you'd buy like South Asian food from. Just like, if you can buy Karila, you can buy... Do you eat Karila? Yeah, if you buy that, you can buy plantain.
I don't really like it, but...
no one likes that stuff. It's just bitter. It's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah, but come on.
Tastes like earwax.
All like vegetables that are bitter are good for you, aren't they?
Yeah, aloe vera. If you eat that, it keeps you young.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten a clove of garlic raw?
Have I? No. Is that?
I've done that. It's meant to be. Oh, and ginger.
Yeah, I have a lot. Yes, I have. I used to suck it raw for sore throats.
Yeah, exactly. It's very good.
Big chunk of it.
Yeah, it's great if you're unwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that stuff, and yeah, everything disgusting is good for you.
Everything. Oh dear. That's. Some people might be glad to hear that.
But this is nice, and I'm guessing plantain is fairly healthy.
It's healthy until you fry it, and then it just becomes a sponge of oil.
Oh, okay.
So it's healthy. It's basically healthy, and then African and Caribbean people, we do like to make things incredibly unhealthy. It's in the culture to take lots of oil and lots of sugar.
Same with Asians.
Yeah, we're really. I mean, like ghee is one of the most horrific things. Like, do you know what that does to your arteries? There's no need for it to exist.
Do you know? Have you ever? I don't know if you ever do stupid health things like me. Have you ever had bulletproof coffee?
No.
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
So it is basically black coffee and grass-fed butter, so ghee. That's it. And it's meant to be amazing for you.
How butter and caffeine?
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like what happened was a restaurant accidentally got an order wrong, and they're like, "What are we going to do with these 20 litres of ghee?"
Well, I think that's how they drink it in like India and stuff.
Well, I suppose to be fair, what's that milky tea called? Yeah, I mean there's far too much milk for me. It's weird.
It's very sweet and milky.
For a nation that loves cows, there's a lot of milk going on. Like a lot of Indian sweets, the base of it is like carnation milk and milk, and it's all incredibly bad for you. But we do a lot of exercise. That's the thing. Yeah. Or I don't know.
I try to now. I go to the gym.
Do you? What instigated that?
Just been single for too long, and also, you want to be famous, isn't it? You want to get
to that point where you're famous, and then you've got an excuse to take your top off, and people are like, "Where did that come from?"
And you pretend like, "Oh, I've always been like."
That's what happened to Stormzy. Stormzy's just this rapper, and then he's on Glastonbury with these pecs. I'm like, where did they come from? Someone's been working out.
And also, yeah, because it's that thing of like, I've started being more honest with myself. Like before, I was like, "Oh, I want to be a great stand-up and all of this." I do want to be famous.
I want to be known for being a great stand-up.
I don't mean famous in a ITV2 way, but you want to be. It is nice when I have been. Obviously, you get recognised around Edinburgh.
Yes,
and that is cool.
Yeah,
and I have been recognised before randomly, which is weird in London because I'm not famous at all, so that was odd. But it is cool, isn't it? It's
cool when you get recognised, especially when you're with someone. And I get recognised partly because of the Guilty Feminist. It's like an amazing platform because it's the same when you listen to it. Are you Athena of the Guilty Feminist? Wow. And I kind of want to say, yeah, but I also do other stuff. But then I just think, I'll go with this.
I did Sophie Hagen's podcast like 3 years ago. Built up a solid following of white women off that.
There's a lot of people that want to do better, and I think, which is good, by the way, but it's a shame they think the way to be better is to listen to me chat shit. Like, I'm not the answer. Like, I cannot help you.
Podcast, though.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I do think one thing I will say is there are things that you naturally know when you grow up as a black and brown person in this country, and you can take it for granted. Like, if you're a white person, you're from a white area, and you've got white friends, and you've only got a white family, there are things that you're just not going to know unless someone tells you. And that's why podcasts are great, because they're a way of letting people into our lives, and they don't have to watch Roots or whatever they would have to have done. And our education system isn't doing us any favours. It's not teaching us about empire and colonialism. Like my friend just sent me a picture of some homework her daughter got, and the homework was genuinely this: it was make a hat that Christopher Columbus would be proud to wear. Like this is a really traumatic thing to ask black and brown people to do. Christopher Columbus basically is responsible for our mass murder, right?
I don't think I was taught about Christopher. I can't really remember, to be honest.
I don't remember, but I definitely know the narrative of white people discovering brown people and white people discovered X, Y, and Z is what I was brought up on. So if you've got that and you've had that in your life up until a certain point, podcasts are great because you can learn all that stuff. But yeah, it makes me sad that we are the answer. It makes me really sad. She wants the plantain. She's getting...
Shall I? Oh, she wants... Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, it's not too hot now.
No. Not that... She eats really hot food. It worries me. A little bit. So anyway, when you said something really enticing, you said, I want to tell you about my morning. Oh. Is that what you said?
So yeah, I do a lot of dumb stuff. So I had a haircut this morning.
I was going to say.
Thank you.
You look great. You had a haircut.
Now, this is the thing, I don't usually have it this short. What happened was, last night, so sometimes I cut it myself. All I do is I've got these good little clippers and I do like number 4, which is not, that's quite thick, or 5 on the sides, and that's fine. I thought, can't be able to get a haircut, I'll just do that myself. Did it last night, and I thought, oh, this feels a bit wrong. It was on number 2. So I just had this patch here. And I thought, oh my God. But I went to the barber, and he's done 2 around the sides, and he's done a good job. It's fine.
He has. It looks like a fade.
Yeah, kind of. It's fine. But the trauma of that, man.
So that was your morning?
Yeah. It was fine. So I was really worried, because it was a busy Saturday morning. It was busy, and there's just all guys, I thought I'm gonna tell the barber that I've had a crisis, because I had half of my head sort of shaven weird. I could have tried to do the rest. Sorry.
No. Do you want more plantain?
No. I just dropped my fork.
Oh, okay.
I'll have more, don't I? But I had to go in there and I had to do that thing of telling him, look, I did this, and I thought it was going to be really embarrassing, but it was fine. Like a couple of guys smiled. Would you have taken it all off? What would you have done? No. I don't want to. It's because I've shaved my head before years ago, and it takes ages to grow back. Really? Yeah. It's weird because now this will grow back quick, but when you do, for some reason, when you shave it all off, it takes a good 6 or 7 months to get anywhere. And there's an awkward phase where it doesn't look very good. It doesn't suit me either. I think bald hair, if I had a bald head, it would suit me because I used to cane row my hair, so my hair would obviously be quite tight braids, and that always looked quite good. I looked like Snoop from The Wire. There was a noticeable difference in the way people used to talk to me when I had this was obviously quite a long time ago. That's interesting. So that's the first thing I do. If I got rid of my dreadlocks. You've got a good shape. So my hair, because it goes the sides, I don't have that thing. You know that shape, which looks like someone like Zayn Malik. Yeah. But the sides of the hairline aren't very good. Oh, okay. So I can't really get that much fashionable stuff. It's fine, but you know what I mean. I can't comment. I'm not really a hairline expert. Your hair looks fine to me. Oh, thank you. No, I'm fine. I just wanted to tell you. So, what's your relationship like with your barber? Because there's a whole thing about men and their barbers. Ones. Oh, you cheat on your barber? Yeah. Oh wow. I think I'm going to stick with this one now. Okay. Because I was chatting to him, and he's been there the longest in my area of Hackney. Right. What's Hainault like? It's very boring. Hainault's what, East London, right? Yeah, but very far. So technically Essex, but still a London borough, so a bit weird. Yeah. Still Redbridge. There's a lot of people pretending to be London. Bromley, Hillingdon. Who are these people? Is Bromley London, though? It's a London borough. Again. Yeah, but you can get buses. Like the Central Line is near me. So it's still basically London. It's really weird. What you have to do... And we were talking about this earlier, because of just gentrification house prices, you have to live in really strange areas just to make life sustainable. It's been really funny for me, man, because I'm from roughly Leytonstone, and that's where I was born and grew up and everything. And there used to be so many... Leytonstone's fine. There used to be so many areas you'd avoid. Stratford, Walthamstow, not very nice. We had to go there for shopping and stuff, but you don't hang around in Stratford. Now... Whenever I have a meeting with any media type, I went into The Guardian recently or whatever, they all live in Stratford and Walthamstow. And it's so weird.
And Peckham.
Yeah, that's funny.
I had a really funny conversation, because sometimes I have to hold my tongue because I want to get ahead in this industry.
Yeah.
But I was talking to someone, and I was talking about Peckhamplex for some reason, right? Which is, most Londoners know Peckhamplex. It's a place where you can go to watch a cinema, watch a film for £5, and it's got a nice vibe to it. Like, I watched Get Out at Peckhamplex. I couldn't watch Get Out in any other cinema other than Peckhamplex, right? And I was talking about how I was driving through Peckham the other day, and there was this like awful kind of shop that had been converted into this indoor market, but it wasn't really a market. It was like some gentrified vintage kind of awfulness. It was all like big glass windows and kind of chintzy lights and that weird brown colour they make everything look, that weird brown lighting to make everything to look kind of browny gold. Anyway, and I was talking about it, and then she just started talking about, I moved to Peckham when I first came to London. It's just terrible what's happening. And I'm like, that's you. Like, you just said it. I moved to Peckham when I first came to London. That's you. This is your fault.
I know.
But it's almost like people distance. They think it's other people and not them. And I don't know what you can do about it. But the thing that frustrates me is the local authorities only start to clean these places up once rich white people move in. Walthamstow could have been a nice place in the 90s. King's Cross could have been a nice place in the 90s. Brixton, I mean, these places were nice, but they had reputations, right? Hackney as well. I mean, I used to go out in Hackney, and I used to kind of rave there, and there were like some nice bars there. Like, there was a place called Murder Mile. Like, it was a mile of road and people would get murdered. This is horrible. Like, people suffered under these conditions. And then and no one did anything until rich white people moved in.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, it's almost as if people don't care about us now. It's almost as if they're trying to give us a message, and we're not getting any message. They're putting us on planes, telling us to go away, but we're not quite getting this message. Have more plantain. Can I just tell you, since I've been here, I've not had one piece of plantain.
Oh, really?
Well, the child.
I've got some left.
There's more in the kitchen. People are like, Athena, how did you lose the baby weight? And I'm like, they eat all your food. You don't eat. They just eat all your food. So can we talk about dating? Since you said something, you said I've been single for too long. This is unacceptable. Not that it's unacceptable, because being single is good. I liked being single.
I mean, I'm 28 now, and I'm trying.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I feel old.
I don't know how old you are, but I know that you're older than I thought, because maybe you tweeted your age at some point.
I'm 38.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, everyone says that I'm an old person. Compared to,
I honestly feel like maybe it's because I do comedy and stuff, and all my friends are random ages. I feel like after 24, it's all the same.
I think you're right, and then it becomes a case of how mature are you. So I know, I know people in their early 20s who give me work, and I know people in their 50s and 60s who are just mindlessly childish.
Childish.
Not childless. That's okay to be child-free. It's okay to be child-free. I mean childish.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care. And I think it's because of comedy, but all my friends are completely random ages.
It is because of comedy. I opened up a new world of
But I don't care.
People.
And they're all different colours and stuff. It's nice.
It is. That's the best thing about comedy. Like, it opens up. After about a week, you're like, oh, this dude's 60 years old and white, and we hang out together. Because you wouldn't necessarily have an opportunity to do that unless you maybe hang out with work colleagues.
Do you have so I always had a thing of fitting in with, because I've never really had like a big group of Asian friends, and I don't really do the Asian. I don't smoke shisha and stuff. I find it stupid. I had a gig.
Is that the big thing that?
No, but that's what they do.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And my brother goes, and I think that's where comedy was nice, because it was actually my first gig ever. When I realised all the comedians, who were very nice at the time, and they were all completely different ages, races, all from different parts of the world, and I thought it's quite nice.
That's definitely a big part of it. It's weird. I've always had like different groups of people. So I've had I guess my friends from this workplace, or my friends from this part of my life, and I have black friends, but they're not in one big group. Yeah. I'm seeing my black friends now, so I guess I was well prepared to be a comedian where it's literally it is a little bit like a utopian kind of environment.
I love it.
And people don't tolerate fuckery. If you're wild, you'll be outed on Facebook. Yeah. So yeah,
I love the gossip. Oh man.
I drive. So obviously I was a driver in the early years. I used to do a lot of driving. It's definitely how I got on in comedy, because I'd meet other comics who were better than me, and we just get on and they'd help me get gigs. But anyway, in these car journeys, the things I heard made me swear I would never get romantically involved in a comedian in my life.
Oh yeah.
Because if you do that, I'm telling you right now, someone's saying your name in a car and chatting about something you've done at some point. Unfortunately, I've heard it all. So I was like, you know what? Unless the dude is like, if it's to the point where if I met someone and he was a comedian and he was amazing and we were in love, I'd have quit comedy, because I'm quite a private person.
Yeah.
And you can't be private, unfortunately, if you're a comedian.
I know what you mean. The news spreads so quick. And like people that, even if you're a comedy fan or whatever, you're not involved in this world. Yeah. You don't know about the gossip and stuff. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And
not when it's horrible stuff, but when it's more just ridiculous.
This is an awful conversation to have, because I want to say, did you hear?
No.
But it's like, we can't say anything, guys. Sorry, what you're going to have to do is become a comedian, get on the open mic circuit, start gigging, then get into a car, and then you're going to hear about everything we're talking about. Yeah. And it's juicy. So juicy.
So, about dating.
Yes.
I went on a date last week with a girl. She's Muslim. I met her on Hinge, very good app. And I think she's a millionaire.
Oh my God!
It's very confusing. She owns 3 companies. She grew up in Hampstead. It's not normal, is it?
That's not normal. People don't grow up in Hampstead unless they're already rich.
Yeah, her hobbies are playing polo. And she likes classical music.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. And I thought this isn't going well. We've got nothing in common. But then she goes, when are we seeing each other again?
Bilal.
And
I'm telling you right now, as your
Mario.
friend, the word keeper is overused in the dating. People are like, he's a keeper, he's got a heartbeat. This woman is a keeper. She's amazing. You marry this girl. She's right for you. So she's a bit of that. Do you know what?
I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
She seems upper class.
Do you think maybe this is an elaborate, like, she just says all this stuff, because she's trying to reel you in? This is the kind of thing I would do.
No, because I stalked her Instagram.
Okay.
And it is her like on a horse, on a private plane, in loads of different countries around the world in really fancy hotels.
Well,
I don't know.
One thing I would say is this: if you're dating someone with a bit more money than you, things can get a bit awkward sometimes, because
I don't have any.
Yeah, right. So then it's kind of like gets to the point where it's like, let's say you want to take her out for dinner, but you want to take her out to like Nando's, not even Nando's, one of the fake Nando's that you see in the high street. Yeah, one of those ones, or Peri Peri.
Yeah,
they've called it Peri Peri.
Best chicken.
So you want to treat that person, but you have to know if that person understands.
Yeah, I mean, even I took it to like a fancy cafe in like Marylebone, and I got the bill. And it was more than I thought, and I was just like, God, don't let my card decline, please. Please.
I'm not a millionaire by any stretch of the imagination, but there was a point in my life where I was meeting a lot of men who earned less money than me, based on the fact that I had like quite a good day job, and then I had money from comedy, and just generally I'm quite frugal. So, excuse me. So, but when I would always be really conscious of stuff like that. So if we were going out for dinner, I'd say, oh, let's go to Chiquitos, or, just somewhere like really...
But you didn't mind it?
No, I didn't mind it. And to the point where I would be happy to like pay, or I would drive everywhere so they wouldn't have to pay for taxis and stuff.
Nice.
And I would preempt the awkwardness, because it can get really awkward, because the expectation is that the man pays for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I usually split the bill on dates. I'm not like, I have to get this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll pay sometimes, but it's not, I don't feel like emasculated.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably a thing, isn't it?
Well, every now and again, there's a big thing about like, should men pay on dates? What about feminism? And my opinion has always been that it's okay to have a bit of a culture around dating, which is gender-based, because that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. It's the bants, isn't it? And it's good to have that culture, because then you can either be with it or against it. And what I always say is, I always offer, but if a man pays, that's almost like an investment, because we might have another date in which I will pay.
Did you see that thing about the guy? Again, I don't know if it was a tweet or if it might have been. I think a few guys have done it where they've taken a woman out for a drink and the woman's been like, I don't really want to, it was nice, but I don't want to see you again, kind of. And the guys ask for the money back.
I think the one rule has to be, if you've asked me, then if you're paying, you asked me to be there. But similarly, I take guys out. Like, I'll be like, oh, do you want to see this movie? Do you want to do this?
I quite like taking turns to pay. I do that with friends and stuff. It's like, I'll get this, you get the other thing. I don't mind paying as well because it makes me mentally feel... if I don't know, well, obviously not now. Now I'm very settled. Now I've got a conservatory. Now I don't need to deal with these things anymore. But when I used to think that, if I pay, I don't owe. This guy doesn't think I owe him anything but now in the age of Me Too, I don't have to do that shit anymore. Yeah. But no, seriously, it got to the point where I'd be like, yo, I better not take any money from this guy because he's going to want to come back to my place or something. Because these kind of conversations weren't really being had. So I'm raising my child not to eat meat, but I'm pretty sure people sneak a chicken. Oh, yeah? Yeah. There's nothing you can do. It's grandparents. Grandparents are the worst. I know. Oh, my gosh. I don't know. Well, because I've got a nephew and niece, it's mad how much they love their grandchild, isn't it? Yeah, to the point where they give them freedom that they never gave you. And you think, where was this when I was 12? Yeah. They love feeding to the point where it's like, I'm going to have to take my child away from you now. I saw my mum yesterday and we were there for 2 hours and it was like a conveyor belt of food. It was like a princess or a queen being bought. That's so funny. But I just thought she just Is this ate her first grandchild? Yeah, it's her first grandchild. Got siblings? Yeah, so I've got do you not know the story? No, I don't think so. So I've got a twin brother and me and him had children on the same day. Oh. So they're twin cousins. Oh, so his girlfriend gave birth and I had my daughter on the same day. Is he in London? No, he lives in Australia, which makes it even madder as well. The whole time thing. Isn't that mad? Yeah, that's amazing. It's almost... Sometimes I forget how mad it is. Did you know there was a chance it could happen? I guess that's so random, isn't it? I didn't really contemplate it, but mine was really late. So she was over 20 days late. Oh. And I think theirs was actually a little early. So whilst there was a chance it could have happened, we kind of thought it wouldn't. And so it never even occurred to me, even though we were pregnant at the same time. Because it would have been so random and such a coincidence. That's amazing. So you can imagine. And is that a boy or a girl? A girl. Oh, so twin girls. So my daughter's middle. Have they met yet? Yeah. So they've come over a couple of times, and they're like. Do they come over often? Yeah. Well, So I'm desperately trying to get into Melbourne Comedy Festival, so I can visit them because it's so expensive to travel over there and stuff. But can you? So where does your brother live? Melbourne. Oh, so. You can do that. Yeah. Is Melbourne one where you have to be invited or something? Yeah, so if you want to get onto the official programme, you could could go and do something. You could do free Fringe, but I'm just trying to make... Oh no, of course, go for the best thing. Yeah, and also just the cost is... It's really easy just to go over and do comedy for a month and then come home. You haven't achieved anything. I've never been to Australia. Just gave me a really nice smile. Yeah, that was when I said that. Oh, it's you. She's being cuddled and she's got planting in her hand. She's basically very calm though. She's very nice. When I mentioned Australia, I remembered that because I've never been invited and lots of my friends have. It reminded me of bitterness. Oh no. Have you had a lot of that? What in the industry? Comedy? Yeah. As in, have felt it. Yeah. So I was just talking about this with another comic the other day, and when you're watching someone do stand up and you're about to go on and they're smashing, and you're thinking, damn! Yeah. But at the same time, it's good that they're smashing. You don't want them to stink up the room with awfulness. And I was saying that it's okay to feel that way because she basically this comedian has this there's this line and it's so funny. It's I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't want to identify the person, but it's so great. And I was saying to her I'll be so sad the day you stop telling that joke because it's so funny. And I was saying that and we just got into the topic of people being funnier than you or doing things that you're really impressed with. Yeah. And I was like, it's okay, if you're ambitious, it's natural to look at what other people are doing and be thinking to yourself, I want to be in that place. But it's when you see people getting things you think they don't deserve. Do you know what I mean? A long time ago. It happens. It happens all the time in comedy because comedy is not a meritocracy. Yeah. No creative industry is a meritocracy. So whenever something happens where I think that is really, I'm not sure if I agree with it. Yeah. I always have to remember that I'm not in an industry. So it's not a mathematical industry that we're in. It's not
good joke plus laugh equals work. There's a whole myriad of things that can happen.
Yeah, because I've had it quite bad, especially last year was very bad for me. Last year was just like bad financially.
Yeah.
It just, it's up and down, isn't it? But I had the Edinburgh nomination thing in 2016.
I want to talk about that, but let's say what you're going to say first.
Just that I got basically nothing after that.
Yeah.
In terms of TV or anything. I got close to a few things and obviously hundreds of meetings.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I see people who got nominated getting on TV immediately. And at first that was winding me up.
Yeah.
But now I'm a lot better. That's why I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter anymore. Like, not really. But I sort of realised as well, like, the stuff they get, like panel shows and things, I don't really want to do.
It's the panel show thing. I mean, I don't want to comment it too much because if they came, I'd be like, I'll take that job. Yeah, of course. And I've done run-throughs,
Yeah,
but
me too.
What I would say is, it's not a judgment on where we were at creatively. And by the way, the people making these decisions, they're not people watching comedy day in, day out. They're curating a TV show. They don't owe us work.
But it's a bad feeling, isn't it?
It's a horrible feeling because
I got made to basically when I got that thing in 2016, I was made to feel like I was going to be a huge star now.
Yeah.
And like there were articles saying that I should replace. There's like an independent article that because I've got Google alerts, obviously. Yeah. And it told me that it said someone had written in the Independent that I should be replacing some presenter.
This is what they do. They look at brown people and they go, "You're the new next brown person." We're the global majority. We need to replace you. You know what I mean? Like you're the one. There's far too many white people on TV. There's literally, but it's just the narrative of us being the minority bores me now. We are the global majority, okay? And with Brexit as well, so people are desperately trying to cling on to this idea of whiteness being some kind of baseline. And I'm like, get over yourselves, okay? When are you going to get over it? So how dare you say this brown person can only occupy a space that's taken up by an existing brown person? But the reason why I want to talk about the nomination is because the last few years, people have made a really big deal about, oh my God, first black woman, first black woman. But like, you must have been like definitely first Muslim, second.
Imran Yusuf.
Oh yeah, Imran. Okay, yeah.
But there's only two.
There's only two.
I think ever. I got asked last week to go on BBC One Sunday morning to debate Islamophobia and freedom of speech.
I mean, it's not up for debate.
I know.
It's not up for debate. Freedom of speech doesn't mean you can just abuse people for their religion.
Yeah. But can you imagine if I did it? It would have been obviously a Lawrence Fox type guy.
Yeah.
Someone like that. Just having a go at me.
And you would have been in a studio where you probably would have been the minority.
Oh, yeah.
So there would have been a lot of white people going, "Oh, Lawrence Fox has got a point, hasn't he? You can't say anything."
Can you imagine Twitter for a week? I'd just be getting abuse.
So I really struggle with the journalistic editorial decisions that are being made in the name of free speech. Unfortunately, I think I should be careful what I say about the BBC because they're paying my wages at the minute. But it's true that the editorial decisions are terrible, and it's basically white people who are fairly, not that middle class and whiteness equals idiocy, but there's a consistency here where white people who think they're being fair by saying, well, because we're a public service broadcaster, we have to broadcast all views. It's like, because you're a public service broadcaster, it's your job to actually have knowledge of context and historical context and social context, even economic context, and then consider all those things and platform people who are progressive. And by that, I just mean not assholes. You can't, and also just because this really annoys me, people only think that both sides should be heard when it's got something to do with Islamophobia or black people. Okay. Anyone else, you would never have someone on TV going, well, being gay is a sin. You would never have someone on TV going, if you're disabled, it's because your forefathers sinned or whatever. But so suddenly people understand context when it's everything else. When it comes to Muslims and or black people, because obviously black people are Muslims, all of a sudden it's, well, let's hear the racists. Let's debate them.
How do you feel about so are you often talked about as black female comedians?
It's something that happens less and less because I think people follow me on Twitter and they know I'm not going to stand for that shit.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So Donald, I got the Felix Dexter bursary.
Yeah, no, well done.
Thank you very much. And somebody asked me, "Oh, have you had a hard time from all these other comics who, think that if they're white, because they're white, they're not getting on?" And I said no, and it's probably because they know not to bother with me.
Yeah.
Because I will just cuss them out.
And also, there's not many people who do that. There's like 5 guys, isn't there?
Yeah, no, on Facebook, I don't even follow them.
Yeah, because like I had, I remember there was a quote from like The Guardian or someone like that. And my management kept using it on everything. Because it's a good quote, but it was like, catch this rising Muslim comedian or whatever. And I was like, why do you need to say...
Yeah.
Or it was like the next best Muslim... There's not even that many Muslim comedians.
Right.
It's not really a compliment to say I'm the next
one. It's people who you think might be Muslim, like Omid Jalili.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Muslim enough. And I don't mind people saying I'm a black woman comedian or I'm a mixed race comedian or I'm a dread comedian. But what I do mind is if they then decide to have expectations of what I should talk about.
That's what I've found, man. Over the last 4 years since my good Edinburgh, it's just been, I've just been offered stuff like that. Really cringy stuff. So like right now I feel a lot better because I'm really confident about my new show and I think... I'm making my own stuff. I'm making like this web series now, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, do you want us to come and talk about it? Or is it like, you have to talk about it if it's still
I can mention it. It's a weird little chat show. It's going to be out in April.
Yeah.
And I don't need to say anything.
Okay, it's a chat show going...
It's very silly.
I'm already looking forward to it.
It's not serious at all. It's really stupid. Thanks. So I feel a bit better. But I just like... So I got offered like... So I did a show all about dating, online dating, and a lot of it was
I saw it.
Oh, thanks, yeah. A lot of it was about Muslim dating apps. And I think it was someone at Channel 4 or something wanted me to do like a reality type show where I'm trying to find a wife and my mum would be in it approving or disapproving of girls.
And the sad thing is, if you had done it, it could have... and they offer you the keys to the kingdom, but they make you compromise so much, and it's so frustrating.
Who you are, though, because there are, there's other Muslim comedians who do everything.
Yeah,
and a lot of stuff makes me cringe, and so I've turned a lot down over the last few years.
Can we wrap up on something positive?
Sure, I'll tell you something I did last week, which I wanted to tell you about.
Go on.
Which was really stupid.
All right.
I had a good... do you ever do Leicester Comedy Festival?
I've never done it.
Oh, okay,
I just don't know enough about it.
Oh, I'll tell you after, but it's worth doing, definitely. I had a really nice week there. I had loads of gigs and did a couple of previews, and it was all overall great. And the next day I had a gig in Oxford where I was closing the show. Really nice. You know Johnny and the Baptist?
Yeah.
It was their thing, and I was closing it, which was great. And... it was, second half started and they're doing their little MCing and I thought, okay, I'll head up now. Went through a door and I thought, okay, I've gone the wrong way. Tried to go back, the door was locked. Tried to go another way, that door was locked. And my phone was charging in the dressing room. I couldn't figure out how to get out. I was trapped. And I could hear the show, they had that speaker system. And I was like, that's the worst, almost panic attack. And then I found a fire escape. I had to go out the fire escape. I was so scared the alarm would go off. I had to go out the building, come back in, basically go into the audience and come up from the wrong side, which really confused.
I'm really confused as to how you got locked in a room.
You need fobs.
Oh,
I don't know. It's a weird building. The Oxford, the old fire station. It's really good.
Oh, I know the venue. Yeah. I've been there before.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you can take a wrong turn downstairs. And it's
a good thing that you weren't a fireman, and then like, there's a fire. Oh no, I'm stuck in a cupboard.
Yeah, no, I won't be a good fireman. But like, I do that a lot. Like, I feel like I'm on top of everything now. I've had such a good week and all of that, and then I'll just get trapped.
Did you panic?
Yeah, a bit. But I was fine.
Oh,
and then it was like a comedy entrance onto the stage, and it was fine because I came from the wrong side. And I told the audience what happened.
Maybe you need to get yourself trapped in a room before every gig, because it's a nice little way to start off your gig.
And then yesterday I had a great meeting, which some stuff's looking really promising, and then I shaved my head wrong.
No, you can't. We can't give you this job anymore. It relies on you having a number 4, actually. And now you've got number 2. You're not appropriate for this role.
It keeps you humble, isn't it?
Definitely. And what I would say, a lot of people were like, Athena, you're doing really well. Yeah. I'm not doing well. Do you know what I mean? So when we think, oh my God, things are going bad, they're going bad for everyone. It's just that the optics are really good.
And
like,
social media, you only put out the positives.
Exactly. I'm not going to put out the deaths or the rejections. Like I did a really good show for like a really big comedy club the other day, and it went so good that on the way back home there were people on the train that had been there, like, you know, it was one of those lovely gigs, but it didn't amount to anything. Yeah. And that's the worst, because that means you'll probably never work for those people, that you've done what you do and they're not into it. So the audience like it, but there's a gatekeeper.
You never know, though.
You never know. And also, one thing, nobody owes me a gig. I've always believed that. Like, nobody owes me work. That's a good attitude. Nobody owes me work at all. It's there. If you create a space in which people can be entertained by comedians, whether it's a stand-up thing, whether it's a TV job, whatever, it's up to you to put whoever you want in that space. You don't owe me a gig. So it was just a shame.
That's a good attitude. Most people don't have that.
You have to have that attitude, man. Yeah. I think I had that attitude because I had such a good job outside of comedy. Okay. So I was like, you know, I don't need it. Everyone, you know, I want to do it now. This is what I've dedicated the last few years to. But I always felt really happy with my life outside of comedy. So that helps. Good. Yeah, I'm not saying all comedians are desperately unhappy with their lives, but it helped me see.
See, I had nothing else because I started in my last year of uni. Yes. Did a media degree.
Yes, I know about this degree.
Yeah. So, you do, yeah.
I remember you telling me about it when we first met, actually.
It's in my show. It's a third. It's a media writing and production. I got a third because I stopped doing work to start stand-up. Yeah. It was at Bolton University, which was named basically bottom of the list of unis in my second year. Yeah. Of a 3-year degree, so I couldn't even get out.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
that was a long time ago now.
It was. No, it's fine. I can talk about it now, obviously, but
I started comedy late. I was 31 when I started.
Okay.
So I was already, you know, I had my car. I was in a house show at the time, but I had like a fairly adult existence. Yeah. So it was really easy for me to take rejection. Because I was like, that's cool. I'm going to Lucia tomorrow. Yeah. You know, so I can't. I mean, it's funny. Starting comedy young is great, but I can't recommend enough just living life for 10 years.
I can imagine, because I've basically grown up into comedy. Because when I was 21, 22, I wasn't a man. I was an idiot.
No one's, you know, when you're that young, you're not,
Most
you're
people
not grown.
Are, I guess,
Most people, I wasn't mature when I was 21, but
it's like I've become an adult doing stand-up. You know?
And also, so I'm doing a lot of writing at the moment, and like a lot of my writing has been informed by my life in my 20s, you know, like places that I've worked, people that I've met. And if I'd got into stand-up as a 21-year-old, I wouldn't have had this thing to mine.
That's what I like about it. You can start at pretty much any age. But you're young, by the way.
I'm young. Yeah, I'm 38. I'm not ancient. Yeah. But I would say this. So something like the Phoenix Dexter bursary, I'm massively advantaged. It's a script writing bursary. So I'm in a better position to write a script than a 21-year-old. So being 38 is great, and start comedy when you're 31.
Do you have to wrap up?
Yeah, well, kind of.
I wanted to ask you one other thing quickly that I wanted to ask before.
Okay.
Which I forgot. I realised recently I get offended when people get stuff wrong about me. Like, there's one thing about guessing the wrong country your parents are from or something, but I get more offended by a couple of things have happened. Recently, I was with some people, and someone who doesn't know me that well said to me, "Oh, you're from Croydon, right?" And I went, random. Excuse me? Yeah, because I'm from East London, and I didn't realise how much pride I take in that.
Yeah, I don't like it when people get things wrong about me.
Also, someone asked me if I was middle class, and I got really offended. But I don't know why.
So are you asking me if people get things wrong about me?
Yeah, if you would get annoyed at that.
Yeah, I do. And with the class thing, I get annoyed at people thinking I'm working class. Okay. Because, and I always say this, I was, my mum was a dinner lady. We was working class if you was to look at our bank accounts, look at the trainers on our feet, whatever. But we was, she's getting really cute at the moment. She wants something from you. But we were middle class in the sense that it was unthinkable that we wouldn't go to university. When we came home from school every day, we went to our bedrooms and stayed there for 3 hours, doing extra homework. We never had frozen meat. Do you know what I mean? My mum was very into
Turkey Twizzlers.
Yeah, we never had any of that stuff. And we had little treats and stuff, but my mum was very much, she only knew how to cook in it. You would think we was Nigella Lawson the way we
I think that's common with I guess black and Asian.
Very common, yeah, actually. But what I'm saying is, I guess it was weird. My experience is I went to kind of a fairly white school, and it was the white kids who were working class, and it was the black kids who had a middle class sensibility. So when people say, "Are you working class?" I always think it's a bit of a red herring because I had probably all the advantages a middle class person would have had because the class system holds you back mentally more than anything because you think this isn't for me or this isn't a space for me or I don't belong there. There's a big thing in comedy at the moment about working class people saying money's a barrier, which I'm a bit against because you're not going to get paid doing comedy whether you're middle class or working class. But what I would say is that if you are middle class, you've got that advantage in that you can meet another middle class person and you can have a great time and you can get onto a TV show.
I don't know how I feel about that because you have a lot of people talking about being working class comedians, and I am one, but I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to feel like I'm saying I'm not as successful because I'm working class.
Yeah,
and I think I'm as funny as anyone. I agree. So, you know,
and again, the other thing that's weird is because I started comedy quite late. I'd made my life, I'd made my career, I had an income. So even though I was working class, I could afford to go to Edinburgh because I had a full-time job as a project manager and I worked in all kinds of industries and I did really well.
Even now, I've got no money. A production company's taking me up and paying for everything.
Yeah,
and then I pay the loss.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, you get a bill at the end, right?
There's a way to do it. Sort of, but still hard, but... It
goes back to what I said, nobody owes you a gig. Nobody owes you money, no one owes you a career. You make your career by being funny as often as possible in front of as many people as possible. And I worry about the mentality of, I come from a less privileged background, so I deserve some kind of subsidy. Because, like, comedy is so hard. No middle-class person got paid for comedy in the first 2 or 3 years of gigging. I'm telling you. None, and if they did, it wasn't significant enough to get them anywhere. But yeah, okay, fine. If you've got a bit of support, you can go to Edinburgh. Edinburgh will not make you famous, as demonstrated by both of us. We both go to Edinburgh.
Although it did give me a career, though. It
gives you a career, yeah. But I think whilst I accept that I have so many things going on that have come from being seen at Edinburgh, I could have. That was my strategy. I could have come up with a different strategy.
That's true.
You can. It's really important to talk about inequality, but it's also important not to get into the realm of entitlement.
I don't want people to feel sorry for me.
Yeah, I'm not entitled to anything. Just because I come from a background where we didn't have a lot of money, like we had a lot of ambition and a lot of education. I'm more literate than a lot of middle class people out there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm more well read. I'm more knowledgeable. So it feels weird to say that I'm at a disadvantage because it doesn't feel like I'm disadvantaged. Anyway, do you have any other questions for me on my podcast?
I don't know. We can talk for hours. Do you want to ask me anything else?
No, man. It's not really a question. It's not really. It's just chat, innit? You just keep my company.
Hello?
With the little one.
Yeah.
But I think she's
very good. She's very well behaved.
Today she's been amazing.
Oh, okay.
Normally she's like a little bit disruptive, but she's in a very good mood.
Yeah.
She really likes you. All right. Bilal, it's lovely to hang out, man. I'm so glad you came.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming to keep my company.
Cheers.
I appreciate it. I say it because it's the title of the podcast.
No, that's good.
That's good. It's a bit corny. I might stop. Thank you, Bilal, for coming. Isn't he amazing? I have to say this. Of all the guests I've had, he has been my daughter's favourite. She's literally she was smiling at him the whole time, wanted to play, was chasing him around the room. So he definitely got the job if he wants to be a nanny or a childminder, because she was very enamoured with him. But that was great. He's so funny. He was nominated as Best Newcomer for the 2016 Edinburgh Comedy Awards, which is a big deal. So that's how funny he is. Please find him on Twitter and on Instagram. He's a lovely comedian, a lovely person, and you should definitely get to know him if you don't know him already. I've been Athena Kablenyu. You have been listening to Keeping Athena Company. If you've liked this podcast or if you've liked this one and other episodes, you can tell your friends about it, you can share it, you can comment, you can like, you can just do what you normally do with podcasts that you enjoy. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your support, and we will catch up next time.